All right, there we go. Awesome sauce. All right, guys, we are recording. I am super excited for our guest speaker tonight. I'm just going to do some really quick announcements so we're not holding her up. We have a new coach. I want to welcome Hannah Beeman. Welcome to the family. I'm super excited to have you. I don't even think she's on the call, but she has been a long time coming, so I'm very excited that she joined. Jenna Crosser went Emerald this week. Super pumped for her. First rank advancement of her business, and she's only been a coach 2.5 months, so that's huge. I'm very excited for her as well. Stacy Camille, I don't even know if you're on, girlfriend, but I am so excited to have you back in the game. I keep seeing your face. I'm excited, and I want to give you props for hosting your very own Super Saturday with some other fellow coaches that are in your area. So mad props for that, because that is freaking awesome. April 8th and 9th, we've got Super Saturday and Super Sunday coming up next weekend, you guys. Seriously, this is legit what this is like fuels my soul. I am now on the market council, but you guys know my story. I started off as a 3-person show in a basement at my first Super Saturday. It was totally creepy, and now I'm on the council, right? You've got to get to these live events. They will fuel your soul and just have you on fire walking away from there. And it's really good to take spouses too that aren't super supportive, because then they get to see the feel of the business and what it's really all about. So this coming weekend, we've put the link in the team page like 400 times. I'm going to make it 401, and I'm going to post it again tonight. I want you there. April specials, you guys, are freaking ridiculous. I don't know why everybody isn't like freaking out right now. $160 for the all access pass. They dropped it from $199, which was already a steal of a freaking deal, to $160. There is no other option. Like, everybody needs to be on all access pass by the end of April. If you're going on the Punta Cana trip, the Success Club trip at the end of this month, you have until the 10th to get Success Club 10, and you will get celeb picture opportunity. This should be a no-brainer. You need to reach out to every single person that had hesitations on that $199. Let them know that the price got slashed to $160, and this is a sign. They were waiting for it. This is it. So I'm going to turn it over to Sam. That's all I have for announcements. And she is going to announce our guest speaker.
So our guest speaker tonight, Andrea, I wish I could tell you guys how I guess we became Facebook friends. I'm sure it was some kind of 21-day fix group that I joined, probably when Jen Wooten was telling me about it, and I probably thought it was some kind of crazy thing. But I added her as a friend, and I saw she posted, like, I mean, if you guys, I'm sure she won't care if you guys add her page. Like, she's just so raw, so real. She'll post everything about her journey. I actually reached out to her, and the one thing I remember writing her, the first thing I ever wrote her was about how inspirational she was, and that I felt like quitting. And she would post every day, like, the reasons why she felt like quitting, or about her personal life. And, you know, she just told me that every day, you know, something is going to come along that makes you want to quit, but it's going to make you stronger. And now we've been friends for, I think, almost a year now, and now she's another 100 pounds down. So it's just been really cool to see things that, and I'm sure she'll tell you, but things that she maybe couldn't have done in the past that now that she's able to do, like, it's limitless for her now. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to her now and let you guys hear for yourself just how awesome it's been for her journey.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, am I unmuted? So first of all, I love your team name, because it's like my whole mantra to like live this unlimited, limitless life. So I am like very high energy and very like high, like rah, rah, rah. So you'll have to, if I need me to turn it down, just tell me to turn it down. So this is going to be a story of me going from hopeless and helpless to limitless and possible. So for you, those that don't know me, I'll shortly introduce who I am. So I've been with Team Beachbody now as a coach since February of 2015. But I didn't join as a coach right away. I started out as a challenger, actually. And I was very defiant with Beachbody. I defied Shakeology. I defied our programs. I wanted to look for every other quick fix and gimmick before Beachbody and before the bag of Shakeology because I lived a very, very, very poor life. Our finances were very, very limited. And I just kept telling myself, I can't afford this. I can't do this. So what ended up happening is, I'll state how I got started with Beachbody. I've always had a weight problem all of my life. I've been yo-yo dieting all my life. My mom and my grandmother used to go to Weight Watchers meetings, and I would go to the meetings with them. And Weight Watchers is all I ever knew. So every time I wanted to lose weight, I would say, well, it's time for me to get on my van. It's time for me to get on my wagon again. So I'm going to get back on that Weight Watchers, and I'm going to start marking all of my boxes of cereal with points and everything in the house. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to lose weight. And what would happen? I would lose 50 pounds and I would stop. But I was still obese. I still would have had almost another 50 pounds to go, but I always gave up before I got to the goal. So then right before I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, I sat down and I watched one show on, you guys probably, I don't know if you know Extreme Weight Loss with Chris and Heidi Powell. I watched one episode where the one girl, they were dealing with a girl that had an eating disorder. And I have actually struggled with an eating disorder since I was 14 years old. I have ruined probably 75% of my teeth because I have been bulimic since I was 14 years old, because that was my way of fixing binges, because I had a binge eating disorder. And the way I thought to fix those binges was for me to, lean on bulimia for it. And once I saw this episode, I thought, you know what? I can't live like this anymore. And then I found out I was pregnant a month later. And what I realized then was that is when my blessings started happening. It was a big monkey wrench to my life because I ended up losing my job as a result of having Emma, because I didn't have enough time accrued to be able to take maternity leave. So what ended up happening when I got pregnant with her is my thyroid quit working. And I ended up gaining 125 pounds when I was pregnant with my daughter. I weighed almost 400 pounds when I birthed her. And it was a very high risk pregnancy there at the end because of my hypothyroidism and because of how overweight I was. So I was already in kind of a place mentally, emotionally, where I wanted to make a change, but I was very depressed. I was very, very depressed. I was very hopeless. And I started breastfeeding my daughter. So I naturally started, watching what I was eating, because when you're breastfeeding, you have to, baby, certain foods that I noticed certain foods that I would eat would make her cranky. So I started really watching what I was eating, and I naturally lost postpartum, I want to say about 25 pounds. And then December, I finally had my breaking point. And when I mean breaking point, it might bring me to tears, because when the Beachbody Challenge department asked me to relive this day, I started crying in my interview. So we take our son to Hershey Park every year for his birthday, because his birthday is in December. So it's kind of an oddball month for him. And we always give him a choice what he wants to do. He always wants to go to Hershey Park for his birthday, and we do Christmas in Hershey. And I always would occupy myself with doing things like taking pictures, keeping myself busy, because I couldn't get on rides with him because I was too big. Finally, my 4-year-old son asked me, Mommy, how come you never get on roller coasters with me, but Daddy does? And I didn't answer him at first. And we had about a 2-hour drive home. And I thought, how do I explain to my 4-year-old son why I don't get on roller coasters? And then I really started having this conversation, this inner dialogue with myself on this ride home. And I thought, no, you are not going to tell him a reason you can't get on this roller coaster because it's not a good enough reason. So instead of telling him the reason and letting it be another excuse of why I couldn't get on a roller coaster with him, I said to him, Kyle, I'm sorry mommy never got on roller coasters with you, but I promise next year I will. So I thought that was my yes, I'm here, I'm ready to make a change. Mind you, this is 2 weeks before Christmas. So I am always the coach that says, don't tell me about slow times of the year and holidays, because I am the challenger that committed to a health journey 2 weeks before Christmas, that almost killed herself. The day after I made that promise to my son, I stood on a scale in the bathroom. And the first scale I stood on said error. It wouldn't even give me a number. So I had to rummage through and find another scale, and I found this scale. I already knew postpartum that I, was kind of an idea how much I weighed, but I ignored it. I wasn't mentally and emotionally facing that number. But the day I stood on that scale in that bathroom, I mentally and emotionally was ready to face the reality of that number. And I'll never forget that it read 330 pounds. My daughter was sleeping in the next room. She was a newborn. And my son was sleeping too. They were both napping. I had a nervous breakdown in that bathroom. I took an extension cord and I took a knife because I didn't know what thing to use to end my life. Because I thought ending my life seemed like an easier thing than letting my son down, because I didn't believe that I could fulfill his promise. I didn't believe that I could lose the weight. And I thought the only solution at my disposal was to kill myself. And it was as close to it doing it as I ever got to. What saved me was, thankfully, my daughter started crying. And my daughter, when she cried, it snapped me out of whatever war I was going on inside me in that bathroom. And God came whooshing in, like he always does with me, and put something strong on my heart. And finally, out of nowhere, I just screamed, just try, Andrea. So I had this program, Les Mills Combat, that my mom ended up, I begged her to purchase for me on one of the Black Friday sales. So yes, I'm not only am I a challenger, I committed 2 weeks before Christmas. I am somebody that got introduced to Beachbody through a Black Friday sale. So never underestimate those little teeny tiny things, because you never know what gem is hiding in those little teeny tiny things. So went on and I pushed play on Les Mills Combat. I don't remember that half hour. I remember I cried the whole time. I remember I cussed, screamed. And I remember at the end of that workout, I was so sweaty and I just felt so powerful. And I thought, I want to feel this way every damn day. I want to feel powerful. I want to feel possible. So then I started really thinking about, once I started pushing play every day on my workouts, I started really living in this space of, okay, I'm going to make a promise to my son to fit on a roller coaster, but what else can I do? Because my whole life I lived in, I didn't go to my senior prom because I was too afraid to wear a dress. I didn't go to amusement parks because I couldn't fit on the roller coasters. I secretly wanted to be this athlete. I was an athlete, and she was trapped. And the one thing I secretly wanted to do so bad was I wanted to do a full Ironman in Kona. It's ridiculously insane, crazy. And I really started living in these, what if? And I'm like, no what if, Andrea. So I went and I made I called it my I'm going to make it possible board. I decided that day that I would never become a what if, but a when. Because I just couldn't live in a life anymore where I allowed myself to be trapped in limits. So once I made this goal board. I call it my motivation goal board, my motivation when board. And on that board, I filled it with my favorite quotes and the things I wanted to do. I put Kona Ironman on there. I put the Beachbody Challenge on there. And the Beachbody Challenge, I didn't even know it existed when I signed up eventually signed up as a coach. I ended up signing up as a coach because I became so addicted to the workouts and the Shakeology that I couldn't get enough of it. And then, I thought, well, you know what? I wonder if I can get some extra support. I have the support of my family and I have the support of my coach, but my coach is always posting about these team calls, and she's always posting about these events that she's going to. I wonder if that support could help me. And that's what made me end up doing it. So I ended up joining as a discount coach. I didn't want to work the business. I didn't want anything to do with it. I just wanted to push play on my workouts, get my Shakeology discounted, go to the events and just mingle and meet people that wanted to be, at a level of incredible, because I wanted to surround myself with people that wanted to be incredible, because I didn't feel incredible. So I needed to surround myself with people that made me, remind me what it felt like, and to see what their life looked like incredible, so that I could begin to believe that my life could be incredible. So once I started really doing that, life really started testing me in a big way. The first year of my journey, the first 100 pounds that I lost, because it would take me this entire call probably and then some to explain that. So I'll just give you the abridged version. My daughter had to undergo extensive procedures. They told me they thought they were going to have to take a biopsy of her colon tissue because she wasn't going to the bathroom. And here I am finding out that my 6-month-old daughter might have to have some kind of procedure done. And then on top of that, it wasn't even better. My mother-in-law gets hospitalized, goes to a rehab. We find out that she's secretly been a hoarder that we didn't know she was. We had to full scale renovate her house, which Beachbody On Demand, thank God, came out during this renovation. And I was the crazy person outside in 100-degree weather with a phone propped up on a dumpster that we were throwing trash in while I got my 30-minute, 21-day fixed workout in. That's how insane committed I was, because the world was falling apart around me, but the only thing that wasn't was my fitness and my nutrition, because I I knew in my mind that that couldn't be the things that fell apart. I knew that everything else could fall apart, but that had to be the one thing that stayed together, because it was the two variables that were going to get me to my goal of sitting on a roller coaster with Kyle, and letting Kyle down was not an option to me. It was not an option for me to live in that moment again where my son questions me why I couldn't be a part of a moment with him. So after I started kicking ass and taking names later through all of that hard, then the unthinkable happened, and my mom ends up getting rushed off to get this brain tumor removed. I lost a complete week of my life. I don't know what happened. I can't tell you what I ate, where I was, what I was doing. I literally, my world stopped. And it was probably the closest I've ever come to giving up before I reached the goal. And I acclimate a lot of my success to where I'm at now, to personal development, because it was something I never did. And even though I would read something inspiring or listen to a podcast every day for 15, 20 minutes and think, this stuff is useless, I'm never going to use this stuff, it was buried inside of me when I needed it the most. And when I needed it, it was there. And the one thing that was buried inside me was one of the things that one of Joel Osteen's podcasts, and he said something about, when, you really make a proclamation to God and a proclamation to something that you want and you're going after, things are going to happen that are going to try to change or prevent you from doing that. And I looked at I watched my mom go through this procedure, and she went through it so upbeat. And here's this procedure. We had no idea what the outcome was going to be. We had no idea what the surgeon was going to say. We had no idea if it was going to be cancerous. We had no idea. And she's laughing through the procedure and asking for blackberry brandy to be given to her through her IV, just being funny, So seeing how she's going through this, I thought, she can go through this really ridiculously crazy hard thing. I can lose weight. I can honor my son's promise. I can do my own hard. So I got back into it. So I let myself go through the motions of that experience, but I made myself get back into it. So I ended up losing the first 100 pounds my first year. I didn't think it was going to happen. There were so many times throughout that year I thought, this is not going to happen. I'm not going to lose the weight. I'm not going to be successful. I had so many doubts and so many fears, but I didn't let those doubts and those fears become the vehicle for my actions. I let my heart and my promise and why I was doing this always be the vehicle, always be the driver. And I let all the other fuddy-duddy stuff that was going on and swirling around me, I let that all just swirl around me. And I lived in this tunnel space where I just tunneled. This is what I want. This is where I'm going. And nothing is stopping me. I always tell my one stubborn coach, who's actually on this call, I always tell my one stubborn coach, I say to her, when you got to go to work, what do you do, Tony? She says, I get in my car. So what happens when you get in your car? Well, I turn the keys. Did you drive the car? Yeah, I drive the car. Well, what happens if there's detours? Well, I keep going. Said, so you follow a detour, right? But you still get to work, right? Yeah. I said, so Why is your health and fitness not your job? I started treating my health and fitness like my job. Even when I wasn't in it to make a dime as a coach, it was my job to take care of myself because it was my job to be around for the long haul. And once I started treating myself like a priority, like my job, everything started changing. Everything. I didn't no longer view all this swirling around rigmarole of issues going on around me as reasons to give up. Instead, I viewed them as reasons to keep going, and they were just detours and reasons to adjust my sails. I always say, when you never give up. Before you give up, you never know how close you are to achieving a goal before you give up. There's this one picture where it's this guy, he's digging away. I don't know if you've ever seen it, with the ice pick. He's digging away, and he's so close to getting the gold, and he turns around. I don't want to be that person. I want to be the person that I'm plugging away. I'm going to get to my Kona Ironman. If you tell me something's impossible, I'm going to show you how possible it is. And that's me rewriting all of my beliefs. I filled a piece of paper with all of the negative beliefs that I had with myself and all of the limitations that I had. And next to each negative belief and next to each limitation, I put something positive. Because I wanted to show myself that no matter what, nothing in life is set in stone. No fate is final. And when you begin to train your mind to see that, everything changes. So finally, when I went to go on that roller coaster with my son, it was great. But I still had 100 pounds to lose at that point. Oh, actually, I think it was I think it was about 90 or so pounds. I could have given up. I could have stopped. But after I made that promise, there was another vision waiting for me to keep going. And then once I started using those goals and these little mini visions, my next goal was Broad Street Run. So I started training for Broad Street Run, which is this 10-mile race. And I did Broad Street Run. And then after Broad Street Run, I did another race after that. And then I finally was presented to the day. And this is probably the day that changed me as a coach, per se, forever. And this is where I started crossing over from discount Andrea to, can I make a business with what I'm doing here? Is I realized that I was riddled in fear and being a leader. And that day that changed for me was when I went to go submit my entry as a for the Beachbody Challenge. I had reached out to Carmen O'Quinn, who was one of the winner for the yearly, and I had shared with her, what was my fears and my, apprehension. And, she had prayed with me on there and, said so many encouraging things. And then finally Kyle said to me, just randomly, and this kid, I'm telling you, he is just like the thing for me. He says to me randomly, Mommy, you're getting really close to winning the Beachbody Challenge. And I'm like, how do you know that? What are you talking about? He said, Mommy, God told me you're really close. I'm like, God told you that? Yes. And then he told me that when you win, you're going to take me on a tour of all the best amusement parks all over the world. I said, oh, yes. Because I said, okay, Kyle. Well, I don't know if that'll happen, but I said, we can pray and see if that'll happen. So after that conversation, I really started stilling in my mind. I thought, why am I so afraid to submit my results? Why am I so afraid? And it finally occurred to me. I'm like, Andrea, submitting your results is showing people through your struggle and I realized that I was being selfish by holding my story to myself. And I realized I was being selfish, that there was somebody out there that needed inspiration and needed to know that they could become possible through all the hardship that I went through. You know, to be able to combat a lifelong eating disorder, hypothyroidism, disc degenerative disease, your mom goes through a brain tumor, your daughter has all these issues. For someone to be able to go through all that adversity, God did that for me, because I was not supposed to be selfish and hold all of my success to myself. And what I was meant to do is I was meant to bring people with me along the way and take a journey with me. And that's finally when I started changing my mindset and I started becoming a coach, because like a coach, like I'm in it because I want to give you a life change, is when I realized that, you know, I always have this like saying where I say, do you better first, then spread like wildfire. Because you have no idea how many people out there are struggling, thinking about ending their own life, thinking about what they're going to be missing out on, thinking about, there's somebody right now, this time of night, that is sitting on a couch, does not have this amazing group of people that you have, that does not have hardly any money, that does not have any hope, that does not thinks that they are too far gone. They are young. They're in their 20s. They have a life to live yet. They haven't had children. They would love to have children, but they have to lose weight. And they think there's no solution. They think there's no hope. We have the solution. We have the community. We have the support. We have the programs. We have the supplements. We have the solution. We have their hope. So if I can leave you with anything today, I'm going to challenge you this week to be a hope giver. Chase down everybody you can and make them take a journey with you. You don't need to be at your goal weight. You don't need to be this fit and buff person, because you know something, the less at your goal weight you are, the more they're going to want to take a journey with you. The less intimidated they're going to be by you. The more you then become exactly what Beachbody was designed for. So when I went to corporate Beachbody, they explained to me how the coaching network came about to begin with. So they developed coaching to begin with because when these programs came out, people were not believing the infomercials, and Carl recognized that people just were not believing that, you know, these pictures that they were so fast with the results. People were like, there's no way. So they thought, and they also seen that people were struggling with accountability. And they thought, how can we make this a good marriage between our marketing so that people actually believe these products work, and in the same token, give people more support and make them more successful? And that's when the coaching came in. That's when they developed coaching. So they developed coaching for us to have people take a journey with us and to make a life change with us. So don't be scared to it. I always tell people, when you try a new shampoo or a new lipstick or new perfume, you want to tell the whole world about it, right? You want to tell them, like, this has been the best shampoo that I've ever used, or, oh my gosh, I found the best hairdresser. She's going to change your life. She nails the color. She gets the cut perfect. You just have to try her, okay? That's what our products are, okay? Our solution is that great hairdresser that you want to shout to the world, that great shampoo that you want to tell your whole family about. And that doesn't make you a person that is a nag. That makes you a person fired up to give your family, your friends, your followers, and everybody a gift, a life change, because everybody deserves to live a life without limits. Everybody deserves to, I spent today, my Sunday, running on the trail. I did about 7 or 8 miles on the trail. I would have never spent my Sunday doing that 2 years ago. And as I'm running on the trail, I thought, man, this is surely a lot different than I would have spent my life 2 years ago. But where would I have been if somebody wasn't brave enough to simply post and share that, hey, Beachbody has this great sale going on with some fitness programs, because I was poor and that's all I could afford. But once I got a taste of the goods, just a teeny tiny bit of it, I freed up all kinds of income to make it possible. I quit smoking cigarettes to afford Shakeology. So I kicked a 10-year nicotine habit because I wanted to drink Shakeology. It was either afford Shakeology or keep smoking cigarettes. That's how tight my finances were. I was so desperate for my life change that I went into my bank account and dissected it and realized that I was spending almost $300 a month on cigarettes, enough money to buy 2 orders of Shakeology a month. So this whole experience has helped me save money. It's not only given me my life and my, a life full of possibility, but it's given me a chance to really, afford things that I wouldn't have been able to before, because I'm now being more mindful of my money, because my mind wants to spend money on, on things that are going to make my life better instead of make my life, full for a moment, but not a lifetime. So, and I'll be honest, my spouse was not always supportive. Okay. He did not like me going to the gym. He did not like me losing weight at all, because we had been together for 10 years, almost 10 years. And when I started out losing weight, he started getting really threatened and going into his own emotions, because here is his woman that has been morbidly obese his whole life, or the whole relationship. And wow, she is getting like looks from guys she never got before, or she is just getting attention she never had before. So it's a little bit of resistance. But, you know, when I went to Summit, that's when things changed. So I went to Coach Summit, and Christina Delgado gave this speech. And I recorded it because it was just like so life-changing for me. And she was talking about rocking your lemonade stand, and, you know, how somebody always said, you know, when Carl told her, you're never going to get Florida market, you're never going to do it. And she said, watch me. So she said one key thing: when you have resistance, you lean in and you do it anyway. And that's what I treated it with. You know, I listened to my significant other, and I tried to, and the resistance that was there was because he didn't feel like he was a part of my story or my journey. So it was my job to kind of bring him into that world with me. So I would do workouts and say, hey, why don't you do a workout with me? Or I went through Beachbody On Demand, and I said, of all of these workouts, which one would you like to do? Would you like to do with me if we were to do one together? And at first he picked hammer and chisel. So we got through month 1 of hammer and chisel. And then my back started flaring up. So then we went into 21 Day Fix Extreme, and it was a wrap from there, because then he did 3 rounds of 21 Day Fix Extreme with me. But I also brought him to all of the Super Saturday events. I brought him to every single Super Saturday event. And let me tell you something about Billy now, okay? Billy helps me run. I run a tracking booth at our Super Saturday, so that when people come in, they can put up their before and after pictures. But in addition to that, I take people's I offer to take people's measurements and updated pictures for them, and then I give it to them so that they always have some. It's for people that, you know, don't, you know, feel comfortable with taking their own pictures and measurements. He helps me do that now. He helps me with things in my business, you know, and that's not things that here we were in the beginning. I'll be honest, Billy, when we were in the thick of it, where things were really bad and he was really resisting my business, or in the beginning, right after Summit, he actually broke my 22-minute hard corpse disc. He was so angry with me. He said, you care more about this beach body than you do me. And broke the 22-minute hard corpse disc. And, oh, you wanted to see a war, don't you mess with Andrea's Beachbody program disc. But after that, we finally were able to, you know, that little tip in that war, I could have chosen to put my tail between my legs and run away and quit. Or I could have bucked up, dug my feet into the sand, and said, you're important to me, just as important to me as Beachbody is. How can I make this better for you and better for us? And how can we become a team together through this? And that's what we did. And he started helping me with my meal prep. So I would, you know, it's why I would do meal prep. I'd say, babe, there's so much meal prep here. Can you help me out? So then he started helping me out. So there's always, you want to bring people in your world, bring them into what you are doing. Don't ever get to a point in your journey where you say, this is too hard, I quit. Don't become your own wall. Because when you do that, you limit where you can go and what you can do. Don't become a what if, become a when. So I'm going to open this up to let you guys ask any questions that you may have. So.
Absolutely love your energy. I love your approach. I love just everything. I sat there and I took notes because I'm going live. After this, I'm going on my page. I'm going live. I want to go find 10 more Andreas this week, because she's so right, you guys. Like, we're sitting here with tools to save lives. It's not even about just losing some weight and looking cute in a bathing suit. It's legit saving lives. I've got goosebumps. Like, why are we not still screaming it from the rooftop? I tell you every single week on our team call, I'm just as excited today as I was 3 years ago when I became a coach, because I remember that feeling and I bottled it up. That first 15 pounds that I lost and I was able to walk again without being in pain and I wasn't stuck in my bed, that drives me to wake up every single day and go find people just like the old me. Now, I want each and every one of you guys to do the same, because she is so right. We're the solution. We're the community. We're the hope. We're the accountability. We are their solution. So why are we keeping that to ourselves? Because we're afraid that because we don't look like we're fitness, coaches, that people are going to, clown on us or whatever. Screw them, right? Those aren't your people. They'll fall off eventually. You've got to go find the Samanthas. You've got to go find the Andreas. You've got to go find the Jennifers, the Amandas, everybody's. You have to go find the old you. And in order to do that, you have to be willing to get uncomfortable and shout it from the freaking rooftops. And I'm so excited. Like, I can't wait to, I'm so grateful that Sam connected with you. So grateful. I love it. Who has questions?
I know one thing I can say, if you are somebody that is really, really, really timid about making posts or going live, the best thing that I could tell you to do is don't overcomplicate it. Just simply say, you know what? I fell off track a little bit with my eating. People love honesty. They want you to be honest. So don't overcomplicate it. So say, come from a place when you lead with heart, you always lead right. When you lead with head, things kind of get a little bit messy and more fearful. So when you speak from the heart, saying, you know what, I gained a little bit of weight, I'm a little bit, I want to feel good this summer, and I want to wear this bathing suit. So maybe there's a goal outfit that you would love to fit into. So you could simply make a post where you say, you know what, I have this goal outfit and I want to fit into this. So here's my plan of how I'm going to do it. I'm going to commit to drinking Shakeology, and I'm going to get myself plugged into my fitness community with my coaches, and we are going to rock this out into summer. And I don't want to do this alone, so I am looking for people that want to do this with me, because I don't want to be the only one that feels and looks great for the summer. So don't overcomplicate it. Approach it with the mindset that I am asking people to take a journey with me. So however your journey looks right now, that's all you're doing. You're just asking people to take a journey with you. That's it.
I love it. Absolutely love it. And you should never stop inviting people. Does anybody have any questions? Any comments? Doesn't even have to be a question. Anything at all? Quietest group in the entire, they're still in shock. They're still trying to digest all of this amazingness. I challenge you guys. We're gonna, if you do have questions after here, you can post them in the group, and we'll get them to her, or follow her, and I'm sure she'll be happy to, hear from you guys. But I encourage you guys I don't know, just when you get off of here, you need to go speak to the old you. I encourage you to get uncomfortable. I encourage you to either go live or come up with a post saying, wow, I just got off my team call for the week, and I realized I've been holding back on you guys. Maybe that's what you need to say, is start there. Like, listen, I felt, almost, not so much ashamed, but there's a feeling that goes with it. Nervous, scared, whatever, to share everything that I have available to help everyone, because I was afraid of judgment or afraid of whatever you're afraid of. Be freaking honest. But you know what? This day going forward, I'm no longer holding back. So either delete me or freaking just enjoy the ride, right? Who cares? I love it. I love it. I think you guys are amazing. You're going to have an incredible, incredible week. I hope that this encouraged you all and inspired you all as much as it inspired me. I thank you so much, Andrea, for coming on this team call. Samantha, thank you for taking the challenge. I challenged you guys. Go find us some amazing speakers that speak to your soul. Sam came to me and said, I found somebody. She spoke to my soul for over almost a year now. She wants it. Can she talk on our team call? And look at that. Just what we needed. So I encourage you guys to do the same thing again. Go find the old you, right? Go find the old you. Go find the Andrea that's waiting for you to post something that speaks to their heart.
And I'll just add to this. Fear is the biggest growth propeller you could ever have. So even before this call, like you see all my energy and you're probably thinking, man, she's just like really confident and she like really knows how to talk. I was scared shitless before this call. So even when I go live, so that fear never leaves you. Fear that lets you know that you're alive and you're still living and that there's growth to be made there. And it's like being on a roller coaster. And then, you know, once you get to that top and you drop. But after that roller coaster is done and over with, you're like, man, that was awesome. That's kind of how it is, you know, once you're presented with fear. But lean into the storm and let it teach you what you need in order to survive and what you need in order to strengthen yourself. And don't let fear be the ruler of your life. This week, every day, decide something about how you will live a better life and how you will help people live a better life. Decide something new every day.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. You guys are incredible. That is incredible. I know your minds are probably like, I have 1,000 things I want to say to people. And that's what I do when I go live. I have absolutely no purpose or no mission. I have nothing written down and I don't give a crap. I just go and I speak to whoever the hell is listening, right? That's
how I prepared for this call.
Honey, you're just like, the notes from here, it's like 50 different directions. It's whatever. It's in my head. So that's what you guys
I do have to say one thing I told Sam before because it's on my notepad and I forgot to. Did you know Tony Horton had 22 failed businesses before P90X?
Isn't that incredible? Yeah. Yeah.
22. So fail and fail and fail and fail and fail until you fail forward. And if failure and fear of failure is something that you severely lack in, there's 2 must-read books that I say you have to read. The first one is Failing Forward, and the second one is The Simple Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Yes, I know.
I already love it. No, I already love it. That speaks to my soul.
So those 2 books will change your life as far as fear and a fear-based life. And The Simple Art of Not Giving a Fuck will totally change your whole mindset and all of your emotions and how you feel and think.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And they've got tons of comments too. Thank you so much. I teared up and have goosebumps. They want to share this call with a couple coaches. And thank you so much, Andrea, for sharing. So
You're welcome.
You're thebomb.com girl. You keep doing your thing. I am super proud of everything that you've accomplished. You're a warrior. You're incredible, and you're here for a reason, and you're helping so many people, and I thank you for that. So I hope that you guys, I still have goosebumps. I love it. I'm going live. I'm tagging her. I don't care, and you shouldn't either. Stop caring. Your people, you got all these people right here. That's it. You got all these best friends. Screw everybody else. If they don't want to support you, they will kick rocks, and new people will come in as you expand your network. So there.
And you might be the one person that is the one thing that pulls somebody from falling off the edge.
Yeah, that's she said it. So go find the old you guys. Go find the old Andrea and speak to them. All right. Don't be afraid. And if you are afraid, I'm fearful every time I go live. So just know I'm right there with you, and it'll get easier, right? So you guys have an incredible week. I will see you in the team page. Thank you again, Andrea. Everybody have a good night. I will post the recording as soon as I upload it to YouTube, guys. Thank you for hanging out tonight.
All right. Thank you for letting me speak.
Have a good night.
All right.
Thank
All right,
you.
love you.